Hello everybody, welcome to the channel, Rabbi Abe here. So in this video I'm going to go over some of the fundamental principles of the secret of the Kabbalah. What is it? Okay, many people don't know still. And even though as of late Kabbalah has become more popularized, it's still very elusive to many people. Let's start off with the idea of secret. They are secret. The Kabbalah is a secret wisdom, specifically the secrets of the Torah, secrets of the Old Testament. Why is that? Well, according to the Kabbalah itself, primarily the books of the Zohar, the Book of Splendor, which is one of the main source texts of the Kabbalah, the Torah is a code never meant to have been understood literally as a history book or a book of religion or rite or rituals. No. And even though the occurrences in the Bible historically are believed to have happened in the way they were written, but only very specific stories are told of the Bible. There's also no chronological order in the Torah text. And so, something that occurred before could be written after or vice versa. And again, there's no necessarily rhyme or reason over there because that's not the point. Let's say I wanted to know what type of food to eat. It doesn't tell me what Moses had for breakfast, what's the right way to eat. Doesn't speak about that necessarily, at least not in any revealed way. So the Zohar was given to decodify that Bible. And the Zohar says many things, okay? But suffice to say, these are the secrets. Now, what's always interesting about a secret, When I tell you, I have a secret, but I'm not going to tell you, all right? Now what happens? Now you want to know. Okay, we all want to know what the secret is because, and regardless what the secret is, secret of what? Anything. We want to know the secret because automatically it is within us to have a desire for secret. And the more secret, the more it becomes revealed. After all, when there's a magic trick, we all know that there's some secret behind it. We don't truly believe that, David Copperfield is actually making the Statue of Liberty or a 747 disappear, but we really love to watch it. And so in some way, we also love to be fooled, but we also really want to know, how did he do it? What's the secret? How did he really do it? How is this universe really created? What is it really all about? What is life really all about? So, there are some basic principles which I want to share with you. 3 or 4 secrets or the foundations of the wisdom of the Kabbalah. First off, we understand the world is in a very chaotic place, okay? That's clear for everybody to see. You don't need me to convince you. There's more difficulty, chaos, confusion than ever before in the history of this planet. And according to the Zohar, and I'll read to you directly from the Zohar, it says, V'amaskilim yavinu, and the wise will know. The wise will understand. Kihim mitzad habina. Hem mitzad habina. They are from the side of Bina, which is a level, according to the Sefirot, spiritual levels. But literally it means understanding. They are from understanding, which is the tree of life, Etz HaChaim. Bishvilam ne'amar v'maskilim yaziru kezohar, kia b'chibur hazeh shelcha shel Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. As it is written, the wise will be careful as the firmaments, as the upper firmaments, in the compilation of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, who we know is the author of the Zohar, which is this book of the Zohar that I'm reading from at this very moment. Mi Zohar shel ima ila'ah, and this Zohar comes from the upper mother, which is also called Bina. This level of Bina, which is above the physicality, it's above confusion and chaos. Elu lo tzrichim nisayon. And these people who come from that place will not need to be tested. What does that even mean? will not need to be tested. Mishum sha'atidim Yisrael it'om me'etz ha'chayim, shehu sefer hazohar hazeh, yetz'u bo min hagalut berachamim. These people who are called Israel, they're called Israel. That doesn't mean Israelis. That doesn't mean the place Israel. There are people who are called Israel, which I'll explain. They don't need a test, and when they taste from this tree of life, which is the Zohar, which is the wisdom of the Kabbalah, they will come out of this chaotic period with mercy, with blessings. That's us. What does that mean? Meaning, in our time. Us, and I hope that means that we are Israel, whoever learns and studies the Kabbalah and who is truly a part of that wisdom. According to this, what the Zohar says, those are the people which will survive, if you will, in a happy, healthy way, without going through undue tests, whatever those tests are. So let's just talk a little bit about it. First off, what is the first fundamental principle of the Kabbalah? Number one, Kabbalah explains that there is a universal force of creation, which is an endless and unlimited force of fulfillment. Now, whatever we call that, whatever we give it, is not as important as understanding the mechanism. Call it God, call it light, call it universe, call it whatever you want. This force has but one characteristic, and it is to fill every place where there is a place for it, and that's important, where there is a place for it with its endless beneficence. That's foundational principle number one. Number two, the souls of humanity are part of this creative process and are unified as one. In other words, you and I and every other soul of humanity are unified as one universal soul, one organism, one entity, and we are a vessel to contain that endless fulfillment of unlimited energy of light. Again, light means endless fulfillment. Number three, we also have built within us our own unique, call it ability to create, but unfortunately, it has two sides. It has an ability to create individually, but also it has a desire to be an individual separate from the whole. Now, what does that translate into in everyday language? Ego. In this world, there is the opportunity to choose the individuality alone, separate from the whole, which is what we do. And by doing that, we separate. Now, when we separate from the whole, we are indeed separated, and we do not have the same benefit as we would otherwise being connected to the whole. Why? Because every individual piece or spark from that whole has a particular component. It's almost like saying that each one has something that I don't, and I have something that everybody else doesn't. So when we are all connected as one, as we were in the beginning, wherever the beginning was, we all benefit from each other's whatever we have, okay? But when we are separated, we're sort of on our own, and we have only what we have in our own individual spark, okay? So when a soul is on its own, it's as an individual, as we all are individuals, okay? We are individual bodies, and each one has a spark we call the soul. But even though we are individual bodies, we do have the ability to connect to other souls. Now, we experience that when we are in a group and we're feeling very unified. By the way, it happens in a good way, but it also happens in a bad way. You know, a mob can unify in negativity, but if they unify, they will become more powerful than they are individually because they're unified even though they're negative. But Positive people, positive consciousness of sharing, positive consciousness of sharing, and that's what defines positivity, is sharing. Negativity is defined as selfish desire or desire to separate even in group, okay? Desire to separate and desire to destroy. Positivity, desire to unify and desire to create. That's how we define positive and negative. Desire to create and unify, desire to destroy and separate. So anything that personifies that is classified as positive or negative. And so in group, whenever those of whichever ilk unify, will be the most powerful. Positive good will always overpower positive evil even if the good is unified. But if the good is not unified, unified negativity can overpower the unified good. Okay. Our purpose and our overall purpose in life is to reestablish a unified whole of the souls of humanity, and thereby fulfilling the original purpose of the creative process, which is to be able to receive the unlimited beneficence of the universal force, the godly force, the universal force of fulfillment once again. What is in the middle of this process? It is called the karmic tikkun, the tikkun process. What is tikkun process? It means there is a corrective process in effect to correct the once unified state that became the separated state, and to correct it back to becoming a unified state once again. By correcting the individual and the individual's desires or selfish desires, we reestablish the creative process, and by doing that, we reunify with the whole. So this is in a nutshell, is the basic points, and I think it was 4 basic points that the Kabbalah explains in a nutshell, and the secret wisdom behind everything. It's in fact everything that we do that has this creative process, because this same creative process is behind everything we do. Without us realizing it, this is the secret behind our work in life, whatever it is that we do in life, every relationship in life. This is it. Behind it. Okay? Behind it. So what we do in work, really behind it, is some sort of unification and reunification. Behind every relationship that we have is the secret of reunifying ourselves with the ultimate unification process. When we do that, everything becomes fulfilling. Everything becomes whole. Everything becomes a perfect recipient for that light of fulfillment of the Creator. Okay? So I know there are many questions. Please join me in the crash course that I'm giving in the 3rd week of January 21st on Sunday. And if you want more information about that, please email info@rabbieabe.com, put crash course in the subject line, and we will send you the information how to register for that if you want to understand step by step the purpose of Kabbalah, purpose of our lives, how this interacts with life and with the whole process of how we live our life and how to become fulfilled in whatever it is we do in our life. Be blessed, everybody. Wonderful to talk to you. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you very soon on the next video. All the best.